Fernando Alonso is not giving up hope of being a three-time world champion in Formula 1, but I think in 2026 it's going to be all or nothing for the Spaniard. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Racing. And Fernando Alonso, he came out and he said he's confident going into 2026. He thinks there can be big improvements from the car, and he's hoping that Aston Martin now have the tools in the factory that can build them and can help them assemble a car that can go on and compete at the top and possibly even go on and win a world title. And we'll get into what Alonso's got to say in a minute, but you got to factor in, this guy is 44 years old, right? It's incredible, I think, that Alonso is still going at the level he's going at the age that he is. Respect to him. And I get it. Michael Schumacher, legend. He came back and he raced, I believe, to what? 40. I want to say 46. I think he raced to 46. But he was getting beat regularly by Rosberg. I mean, he pretty much got beat by Rosberg comfortably over the 3 seasons. I think the 2010, when he first came back, that was probably the most competitive. But it was like, as each season went past, you could just see the gap between Rosberg and Schumacher get bigger. And that's no disrespect to Rosberg. Rosberg's a great driver. I think Rosberg's massively underrated. However, I do think that is a sign that Schumacher just was not the Schumacher of old. I do not believe that Rosberg beats prime Schumacher 3 seasons in a row with relative ease in terms of the point standing. And you know, so I think like one of the seasons, I believe the last season, he got like almost double the amount of points. So yeah, like age is a massive factor. I think it's a factor for Alonso, and I just don't know how much longer he can keep going on. This Alonso at 44 is probably, I say probably, he will be nowhere near as good as the Alonso at 34. And I just don't know if he's going to be able at this age to win a car. I think that 34-year-old Alonso in equal machinery could go up against Max Verstappen and beat him. I don't know if 44-year-old Alonso, and by the time we get to next year, he will be 45. I'm just not convinced a 44... And Alonso's my favourite driver of all time, but I'm just not convinced a 45-year-old Fernando Alonso can beat a prime Max Verstappen. I think for Alonso to win this title, he's going to need the Red Bull to underperform, or he's going to need Max Verstappen to have a lot of bad luck. I think Max, he is the generational driver right now, and I'm just not sure 45-year-old Alonso can beat Max unless the Aston Martin produce a really good car, and that is what we're hoping. And he was asked ahead of the Italian Grand Prix if he believes the new technical regulations introduced into sport next year will help the car and will help success at Aston Martin. And Alonso replied the following, quote, "Yeah, definitely. I think to trust the tools that we have in the factory and bring things to the track that actually deliver what was expected from them is obviously a very good thing. We didn't have that in 2023 and 2024, so yeah, it's good to be back to a more normal factory track kind of correlation and develop the 2026 car next winter knowing that the tools are correct." I think we have a couple of places that we think are more similar to Budapest and Sandefjord. Maybe Singapore can be one of those, maybe Brazil, but you know, we've been a little bit sometimes negatively surprised, sometimes positively. We are not really putting in all the hopes into 1 or 2 races. We will go every weekend to give our maximum, even if it seems difficult. And yeah, we'll see in Abu Dhabi how many points and which constructor position we have at the end. End of quote. So Alonso talking about next season, and then at the end there went on to talk about what he believes Aston Martin can do in the remainder of this season. But he talks about not having the tools in 2023 and 2024. I mean, what would worry me is the Aston Martin has got worse since Alonso joined. I mean, 2023, Alonso was great. Multiple podiums, finished 4th in the standings, only behind the 2 Red Bulls and Lewis Hamilton. It was a great performance for Fernando Alonso. Unlucky not to get a race win in that season as well. 2024, bit of a big step back. He went from scoring 206 points the previous season down to 70 in ninth place. So 2023 he had 206 points in fourth place. 2024 he had 70 points in ninth place. And then this season he's currently only on 30 points and is in 12th place in the Drivers' Championship. So yeah, the Aston Martin's getting worse. Now, I get it. Rules, regulation changes. I guess there is a chance that the Aston Martin could be a top car next season, and I hope for Alonso's sake that it is. But it's not a good sign in my opinion. It doesn't look like it's gradually getting better. In my opinion, the 3 years that Alonso's been there, that he's getting further away from the top end of the grid. And we get it. Rules change. We've seen rule changes being implemented, and teams can make massive strides forward. But we've also seen teams take massive strides backwards, and sometimes teams don't even move. So yeah, fingers crossed that Alonso will have a car next season to do something. But I'm not convinced. I think that Alonso, unfortunately, will end his career as a double world champion and not a triple world champion. And he deserves it. He deserves 3 world titles. He should have won a couple, at least, during his time at Ferrari. Probably should have won the world title in his time at McLaren as well. You know, he did make an error in that race in Japan. Probably wasn't his greatest season. There was a lot of issues between him and Hamilton. Wasn't great, and then made the mistake to go to McLaren, and they really did ruin, you know, we thought it was going to be the latter years of Alonso's career. Obviously, he's decided to race into his 40s, but yeah, McLaren, that move was an absolute disaster. So Alonso's been unlucky with his teams, choosing his teams. Who knows what would have happened if he stayed at Renault? I know Renault weren't great the next couple of seasons after. Renault did pick up a little bit when Alonso moved to Ferrari, but also the Ferrari was not bad in 2010 and 13, so I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Can Alonso become a 3-time world champion next season? Let us know in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.